yeah, just start with who I am. My name is Chris Magnotta. I'm in the mortgage industry, so I've been in the mortgage industry for close to 20 years. And during that time, we've been able to grow a pretty awesome business. I think the last 6, 7 years in a row, we have been rated in the top 1% of,
Wow, congrats.
yeah. Oh, thanks. Yeah, thanks. Not like I'm anything super special, by the way. It happens to be that um, I had a lot of good mentors and worked really hard and got lucky a few times for sure. But yeah, I think, we've been in the top 5, 6 years. We've been in the top 1%, and we're continuing to grow every year, but at kind of a moderate pace. Really just trying to focus on being better and having a better culture and better work environment, and now growing and mentoring young folks like you. So, pretty exciting place to be. But yeah, I think as far as three main things I can think of that I would for sure want to tell my younger self would be one is, you know, if you're getting into business, get into business about something that you're passionate about. Get into business something that you enjoy doing. For me, I had a master's degree in finance, so working into the mortgage industry and finance, came pretty naturally. I like the number side of things. I like the human interaction side of things. I like being able to help people buy homes. Find something that you can fall in love with, something that you can be passionate about. I think that's the first thing I would say. Second thing I would say would be make sure you find a mentor or a coach or someone to really guide you along the way, someone who is, a step or two ahead of you where you're going. That was kind of a game changer for me when I started really pursuing a mentor, really pursuing another mortgage team that did a lot more business than I did and did a business a lot better than I did. And so I think finding a mentor is definitely one of the things I would say you for sure have to do. Whether it be, and sometimes it doesn't have to be like a formal coaching program. Like I'm in a formal coaching program, and that's great. But sometimes it's just a colleague who's a step or two ahead of you that you can take out to lunch once a month and be like, hey, what would you do in this situation? What recommendations do you have for me? So finding a mentor. And then also, lastly, I would say be able to look at your business through more than just the lens of it's going to make me money. I think you got to look at the business with a little bit broader perspective. I think, yes, a business has to make you money, but also too, it has to give you the time to ultimately do what is most important to you. So for me, that's a lot of time with family, it's friends, it's volunteering, it's having time. So I think a business got to give you money. I think it's got to give you time. And at the end of the day too, I think it's got to give you significance. Like it's got to be able to give back in however way works for you, whether it be like, hey, I can donate money to a nonprofit. Hey, I can help people get off the streets. Hey, I can grow people's careers. Hey, I can mentor and grow other people. So I think you got to have a way that you can have significance in your business and give back. So those are kind of my top three.
I think those are an amazing top three. I really liked at the end you're saying that businesses, it's not literally just about making money. They have other purposes, and it has to give you that time to do what you really are passionate about and other things that you like. And significance is something that's kind of overlooked. But that's really important. When you do anything, you want to feel like you matter, like you're making a difference.
Yeah.
That at the end of the day, it's not just you kind of coming home and you're like, wow, I don't even know what I accomplished today. That significance is so important. And I'm so glad that you brought that up.
Cool. Yeah. Those are the three things I think. If I'm sure you're getting a lot of other good advice from other folks too, but I think, yeah, for sure, those three things would be my top three that I would have you go away with.
I think those are great top threes. I'm so glad that you are sharing this, and I'm so appreciative that you are. What do you think? You mentioned a lot about mentorship and learning from other people. Is there any piece of advice that really resonated with you, and it's still something you kind of use to this day?
Oh gosh, with the mentorship thing, I think it's ongoing. I think at
Mm-hmm.
every point along your journey, because that's what entrepreneurship is. It's a journey. Like
Yeah.
it, I think you're at every point along the way, your journey looks totally different. So, in the beginning, a lot of times, it's sales related. Like
Mm-hmm.
you gotta build a business. But then where mentors helped me the most was actually learning how to take a business that had a lot of sales but didn't have any structure,
Mm-hmm.
didn't have any systems, processes, and ultimately was chaos and was super stressful. So for me, the mentor, probably the biggest change for me was the mentors that I had really helped me get my business organized, get it systematized, and so it can be replicatable
Mm-hmm.
and repeatable.
Yeah.
Because it was just chaos. So I think, and then further down the line, it's hiring and it's leadership and it's developing teams, and so it's just so interesting. The whole entrepreneurial journey, it's never boring. You're always at a different spot in the journey. There's always, always, always something to work on. There's always something to improve. And yeah, it's exciting. It really is.
Yeah.
It's very fulfilling.
Great. That's so cool. Is there anything that you learned, or maybe a skill you developed, or something that was kind of said to you that you're like, wow, I wouldn't have expected to do this, or I wouldn't have expected to learn this kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you had asked me 10 years ago, our branch is doing, my team basically is doing $150 million worth of
Wow.
volume, which is
Congrats.
thanks. And if you would ask me 10 years ago if I would do that, I would have told you like not a chance in the world. So, I think that's kind of the cool thing going back to the mentors is they kind of help you cast a vision, because I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have my vision was very limited. I didn't know what I didn't know, and I had a whole lot of, I should say, limiting beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt like if your business grew, volume went up, your life you'd be working more hours, your life would be more chaotic, and so that was a limiting belief. That was just something that I had in my head that kept me from having the vision of doing $150 million. But at the end of the day, that mentor, that
Mm-hmm.
coach saw what I didn't see. And that, like, okay, if you build a team, if you have these processes, if you have these structures, if you have this sales system and you have this leadership, you can actually build a $150 million business while reducing your hours and reducing your chaos. And, if someone would have told me that 10 years ago, my mind would have been blown. I wouldn't have believed them. But then you see it firsthand, right? Then I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, okay, I see now. I see a mentor. I see someone who does it. I see someone who does that kind of business, and they're not working 80 hours a week,
Yeah.
and they're not pulling their hair out all the time from stress. So yeah, that's hopefully that answered your question all
Yeah,
right.
definitely. That's great. Thank you so much for sharing. I think you shared so much great information on the call. Thank you so much for taking the time. Is there any last thing you'd like to kind of throw out there before we wrap it up?
Just go get it. Go get it. If you're passionate about it, it's not always going to look perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
there's the best you're going to ever have is an 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
So if you feel good about it, 8 out of 10, just just go for it. Don't
Yeah.
overthink it. Get it
Mm-hmm.
done. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That's definitely something that everyone needs to be reminded about everything nowadays.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. I know my father respects you a lot, so I'm really excited and I'm so glad that we could sit down and talk for a few minutes. So thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Have a great day.
Thank you, you too.